Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My webcam for the OBS is not working properly. It's tweaking very badly. So I'm deciding to use this camera app for the webcam for the moment. It actually look very good. So anyway, I've been wanting to make a lot of video recently talking about stuff, and there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about. But the thought of making a video is terrifying. So this one is a no effort November. I got from a guys on YouTube, but the problem is it's not November anymore. It's already December. I don't even know why I'm talking about that. But and for this video, as you can see in the background, this is what I call Dynamical JS. It is a physics engine in the browser written in TypeScript and React. The reason it has JS in there is because it was initially written in JavaScript when it was started. And a few years later, I realized a very big mistake. It's JavaScript, or maybe it is a skill issues, but now it's TypeScript. Everything is sunshine. This project has been through a lot of rewriting, a lot of refactoring, a lot of mistake in between, and I'm deciding as of today to stop working on it. Even though a few seconds ago I pushed another commit to the master, but I'm trying to not work on it anymore because it's been too long and I want to focus on something else, and this thing keep dragging me back. But hopefully after making this video I can get everything out of me and I can continue working on something else. So let me close this thing. What we have here is a demo on something called Strandbeest. It was a very tasking video talking about this thing, and some guy in Netherlands built this thing out of pipes, string zip tied and all that, and it's actually very fascinating. So I then decided to make it into a simulation in Dynamical JS. So what we have here is a simulation code plus an editor that is heavily inspired by Figma, the design software. So what we have here is a list of body, and I can select multiple of them, but for now we cannot do anything, and I'm not going to implement anything. There's a lot of features and bugs that I need to fix, but you know what? I just need to leave it somewhere. I cannot keep going forever. On the right side you have all these property. You can change them, you can delete the point mask, make them static or not, it doesn't matter. It's up to you, but oh, I just broke it. Yeah, because you cannot do that because this thing need to move. So at the bottom I can pause, I can move forward frame by frame, and each frame this substep it need to run multiple times. It need to solve all of these constraint multiple time to make it look realistic. But you could lower it down or increase it if you want. So if I do it one, everything look a little bit springy. This thing is not supposed to be springy. Is that a real word? I don't know. It's solved only one time per frame, which means there's a lot of error, if you would say. But don't take this as a accurate simulation. It's not. If you haven't noticed yet, we have an option to create a bunch of things. So in here, you could go to point mask mode and create a bunch of point masks, and then I can connect them together using rigid constraint. I should rename it better to something else like a connector, if that makes a lot more sense. But for now, it's called rigid constraint. So if I connect it, this circular kinematic is the moving things. I could show you a little bit of how it works. Select the center and drag it out. Now this thing will move around the center point mass. If I run, you can see it's going. And also you can see a lot of arrows visualizing the velocity of each of this circle. Oh, by the way, I did not mention it's called point mass. It is a point with a mass that moves through time. Is that? Yeah, maybe. My attempt to be a physicist is not working. Anyway, you can take a screenshot of each of these things, a snapshot. So basically it's just Git that is very inefficient. So I can move around through time. So this is the first things. This is the latest one. I could import JSON file. So I have this thing already here. So I can also select this and move it if you want to. I could also export it if I done something, export it into a JSON file if you want to share it with your friend. Also, you can check it out, dynamical.netlify.app. Damn, there's so many things to talk about. I think that's each of this. Delete. Boom. It's gone. It's fall. No more static. Bing, bang, boom. It's done. It's done. I'm done talking about this thing. Oh, by the way, you can scale this. I'm very proud of this, this specific features. Sometimes we use this thing without realizing how they were written, how they were built, and we take it for granted. Now, once you start doing each of this from scratch, you realize the intricacies and how it's actually implemented and what does people went through just to build something simple like scaling this thing. But it's just that I just want to talk about it anyway. Let's just look at some code because I'm not going to talk about the detail, but let's just go through a lot of these. So all of this is written with React for the UI, and everything else is in TypeScript. The whole thing is in Next.js project. It was a Dino project, but I couldn't get it to deploy because the Dino 2.2.0 is not supported anywhere. Now, the commit is not looking good. A lot of these are directly on master branch. I switch branch now and then if I remember to. And what is this? Big refactor. Look at that. Sick. Oh, also the editor is light theme. Now, over the past week, I've been using this new AI editor called Cursor. It's not sponsored, but it's just a very, very powerful AI editor. All of this AI tool is very useful. There's no denying. But when it's come to a project, you are the one that have to make a lot of conscious decision on how to organize the code in a way that's easier for you or anybody else you're working with in the future to add something onto it. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how powerful the AI is. If it's not scalable, you're still going to have a lot of hard time trying to implement some new features. If I want to add something new, for example, another features like a spring constraint, I would have to spend another week just like half of the whole rewriting phase just to put that thing in here. The reason is because there's so many things I have to consider, and if I would I planned this a bit better, it would have been easier for me to add something new, but it's not, and it's happened a lot of time. That's why I'm have to rewrite the code again and again just to learn all of those mistakes. It's it's a big problem in project development, not just programming but project as a whole. So what I'm trying to say is that it's a very important skill for programmer to be able to write scalable software. I know a lot of people try to run away from it because it take away the fun of solving the problem. Instead of solving the problem, you solve the problem of solving the problem so that you can solve the problem better tomorrow, if that makes sense. It's not too easy to make your code scale. Sure, there's OOP, but you cannot overuse that. Sure, there is functional programming. You cannot also overuse that. I'm still learning. A lot of people still learning to look for a way to write your code better. A lot of people just gave up and then just do everything procedurally. Now, I want to talk a bit about the history of this project. Initially, it started as a simple things that I thought would be easy, but then it turned out to be a very terrible thing. Look at this. It used to have a collision, but collision is hard. Initially, Dynamical JS started as a physics library that you can just call a few things to create simulation. Because of that, the code for people to use is very simple. You can just call a few things, you can chain them up with just a few lines of code. But a few months ago, as I rewrite the new version of Dynamical JS, I want to make it into an engine, but I still keep the idea of making it as a library, which means that I need to keep the code clean for people to use it as a library, but also at the same time the code needs to be built to bind with the UI. Because of that, I waste a lot of time and end up did nothing. So what I'm trying to say here is that when you're working on a project, just focus on one thing. Don't try to do many things all at once unless you need to. Like this thing, I don't need to. There's better option out there that people can just use to build any of their simulation, and it works so much better. together. And these are the older version of Dynamical JS, and this is the older one that support collision. And you can see, oh, it's fine, it's all right, everything's working. But then when you use a lot of them together, oh, this one, it's and yeah, I'm going through my Twitter because I don't want to mess up with Git. It's destroyed the whole code base so many times because I don't know how to use it. Here it's raised another question. If you spend too much time planning, you're not gonna see a lot of the problem that you're gonna face later on. Because as a beginner, for me, there's a lot of things that when I start writing the code, I can see those problems, and then my whole plan just changed because one of those bugs, one of those weird JavaScript or TypeScript things. It's really hard to determine or to plan a project in advance. I would say that if you want to work on something, just start working on it and get something done as quickly as possible, or maybe not the whole project itself, but a small chunks of those projects. And once you've done that, take a step back and then look at all of your code and see which one you can reuse, which one you should fix together, and which one need to be scalable. For example, which part of your things need to be changed in the future. So that way you can rewrite your code for that small piece. Then you do it again to finish the later features as quickly as possible without any constraint, and then you rewrite them. And it's really important to rewrite, not to just fix a few things because your code will become messy later on anyway. So just rewrite them, spend a lot of time, do that. It's good for you. At least this is how I'm doing it. Yeah, I'm not doing it correctly yet. Let's pull up. Thank you for watching. I'm trying to make this as short as possible. It's the same problem with making video because I don't want it's perfectionism. I hate it, but it's there. It's genetic, I don't even know, but I need to click stop recording, otherwise it's gonna be Thank you very much for watching this video. See you soon, maybe, or maybe not. Goodbye.